Knock, knock. Who's there? Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons who? Ben Simmons knocking on the door in training camp. Let him in. Good afternoon and welcome to the podcast. I'm Nick Drago. Today on the show, we're going to talk about Ben Simmons, of course, because what else are we going to talk about with basketball? NHL's back in action. Football is, well, still here, and the baseball playoffs keep chugging along. Stick with us, friends, because sports starts now! And welcome to the Sports Podcast with me, your host, Nick Drago. For those of you that are new to the program, hello, hi, howdy, doody, daddy do, and welcome to the show. I always love new people coming, sticking around, and, you know, all that good stuff. If you like what you hear, find me on Soundcloud, Twitter, YouTube, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. You know, that's me. We like to talk about all the sports news and information from the previous week, and maybe give you some insight on the next week, month, year, etc. I had a great weekend. It was good, and it was great. Let's see. My child now sleeps through the night, and so I have a lot more energy than I recall pre-baby. A lot of energy, because I actually now get to sleep through the night, and it's awesome. What else? I don't know. We went to a brewery. We caught up with some friends this weekend. It was a good time. It was overall a good time. Good time. Good. You guys had a good time? You did? Lovely. Awesome. Sweet. Don't forget, you can also email me, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. I don't even remember if I said that already, but I'm saying it now, and I'm saying it for you guys. Is that it? I think that's all I got to talk about, except the sports. So let's get right into it. Baseball playoffs. They are here, and they've been pretty darn exciting. So right now, Astros and Red Sox is the first series, the AL series, and for the NL series, it's the Dodgers and the Braves. Now, going back, the first game. Where are we at here? First game went to the Astros, beating the Red Sox 5-4. That was on Friday. Huge win for the Astros. And Boston did try to come back towards the end there. It was a lot of late runs. But Boston got the win in game 2, beating them 9-5. That was on Saturday night. Boston just came out early, swinging for the fences. 4 runs in the first. Well, not 8 runs in the first 2 innings, but 4 in each. Braves beat the Dodgers in game 1, 3-2. It was actually a walk-off win for the Braves, not bad. And right now they're actually tied 2-2 in the top of the 7th. Dodgers scored 2 runs early. Braves scored 2 runs not far after that. So we'll have to check back in on this one after the show, or as we get towards the end of the show. Red Sox and Astros, they play game 3 tomorrow, and then Tuesday will be Braves and Dodgers back out there. And if there is there will be a game 4 because it's best of 7 series. Red Sox Astros will also play game 4 Tuesday. So we'll keep an eye on this Dodgers Braves craziness. Let's see, MLB has agreed to provide housing for minor league players starting in 2022. Listen, the secret's been out for a long time. Major League Baseball does a terrible job of taking care of its minor league players. They don't make all that much money. Yes, their salary may seem high, but in reality, if you're really far down on that list, you're barely making enough money to survive, buy a house, take care of yourself food-wise. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be putting people up in the Ritz here, right? It's probably going to be like college-style housing, but it doesn't matter. Major League Baseball is taking a step in helping to improve the lives of those minor league players, and I think that's kind of important. So good for them. NFL, a lot of games from this weekend. Let's take a look at all of them. So Eagles and Buccaneers played on Thursday. I know all my friends here in Philly had a ton of fun. Buccaneers came out on top 28-22. Yeah, it was a closer game than it may have seemed. Philly definitely came back towards the end. They seem more like a second half team right about now. But realistically, there was a point in the game where I think they had an interception and then 3 straight 3-and-outs to end the first half. It wasn't pretty for the Philadelphia Eagles. Jaguars finally get a win. It was over Miami, so it doesn't mean much. But they finally get a win over the Dolphins, 23-20. And for the Jags, it's got to feel good for Trevor Lawrence, 319 yards and 1 touchdown. So Urban Meyer probably keeps his job another week. We'll see. Vikings beat the Panthers 34-28 in overtime. Very big win there for the Vikes. Ravens crush the Chargers 34-6. Absolutely destroy the Chargers. I'm actually a little surprised by this one. Herbert with 195 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Lamar Jackson, 167 yards and 51 yards rushing. By the way, Lamar beat Dan Marino's record for most wins by age 25. I think he's got 35 wins. I have that right here somewhere. NFL record, 35 wins under the age of 25. Very cool, very cool. Rams destroy the Giants 38-11. Colts destroyed the Texans 31-3. It was a whole weekend of blowouts. The Chiefs beat the Washington football team 31-13. Now the Chiefs have had a rough couple of weeks here, but Pat Mahomes looked better. He still had 2 interceptions, but he had 2 TDs and just under 400 yards. Washington couldn't quite put much together there. Packers beat the Bears 24-14. Bengals destroy the Lions 34-11. Cardinals got a big win over the Browns, 37-14, and the Cowboys beat the Patriots in overtime. Yeah, that was a game that almost everybody outside of New England and Dallas just does not care about, but darn it, they look pretty good, and I think Dak Prescott was hurt there towards the end. Prescott had 445 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mac Jones, 229 and 2 TDs. So that's a big win for the Cowboys. Dak is going to get an MRI for his calf, but he doesn't seem too overly concerned. All right, moving on. Raiders beat the Broncos 34-24. And right now the Steelers are beating the Seahawks 14-7. Now, mind you, the Seahawks are without Russell Wilson. That's right. Starting for the Seattle Seahawks is none other than Geno Smith. And if you're a Jets fan like me, oh, that name just makes you want to cringe now, doesn't it? Oh, we love Geno, don't we? No, we hate him. Now, I shouldn't say hate, such a strong word. Listen, Geno's been riding the bench a couple of years. I hope for the best for that team. Maybe they win the game. Maybe they beat the Steelers. It'd be really embarrassing for Pittsburgh if they do, so we'll see what happens. But I'm definitely curious to see now. My fantasy team actually rides on Geno Smith, and you might be wondering, what? Listen, I have Russell Wilson on the bench. I got Chris Carson's on the bench. I got half my team is freaking hurt right now. And so I'm just kind of playing whatever scrub I could come across, and Geno Smith was that scrub. So we'll see what happens. Looks like there's a touchdown. Please tell me Geno threw that touchdown. He did not. So he's probably got me 0 fantasy points right now. Totally fine. Tomorrow's the Bills and the Titans. Not exactly an exciting game. I think the Bills are just going to roll all over them. Let's take a look, though, at those standings. Looking at the AFC East, the Bills are on top 4-1, followed by the Patriots at 2-4, Jets at 1-4, and the Dolphins at 1-5. Kind of funny. This would be like the AFC East a few years ago, where it was the Patriots were dominating 4-1, let's say, and then the other 3 teams could barely put anything together. In the West, you have the Chargers at 4-2, Raiders 4-2, Broncos at 3-3, and the Chiefs at 3-3. That's a tough division. AFC North, you have the Ravens at 5-1, Bengals 4-2, Browns at 3-3, and the Steelers at 2-3. And finally, in the AFC South, the worst division by far in the AFC, you got the Titans at 3-2, Colts at 2-4, Texans at 1-5, and the Jags at 1-5. So right now, if the playoffs were to begin, you'd have the Bills, the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Titans. Those would be your division leaders. And then it'd probably be the Raiders and the Bengals in there as well. And it's just crazy to see teams like the Patriots, the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Browns, teams we expected to be something, or at least a little bit better this year, are not. And the Colts, too. The Colts aren't quite in there as well. So, interesting turn of events in the AFC. In the NFC, you have the Cowboys at 5-1, Washington's 2-4, Eagles 2-4, and the Giants at 1-5. In the West, NFC West, you got the Cardinals still undefeated, the only remaining undefeated team. Rams are 5-1, Seahawks 2-3, 49ers 2-3. Oh, you accidentally, for those of you watching my YouTube channel, I accidentally hit the thing. You probably saw some family pictures in there. Totally cool. Hope you enjoyed those. In the NFC North, the Packers on top, 5-1. I like how Aaron Rodgers told the Bears as they were leaving the field today, "I own you." Love it. Love it. Vikings 3-3, Bears at 3-3, and the Lions, lowly Lions, 0-6. And in the NFC South, you have the Bucks at 5-1, Saints at 3-2, Panthers 3-3, and the Falcons at 2-3. If the playoffs were to end right here, right now, it'd be the Cowboys, Cardinals, Packers, and Buccaneers. Those would be teams getting in with the best records. And then after that, you got the Rams, right? 5-1 team, definitely deserve to be there. And then I think it would be the Saints would be next. Yeah, the Saints, because they're 3-2. So despite a not so great record to start. I mean, 3-2 is not bad. It really isn't bad. I think the Saints will be much better as the season goes on. The Washington football team is retiring Sean Taylor's number. I think it's been, how many years now? 14 years since he passed away. He was killed protecting his family when a burglar tried to rob their home. Now, what I think a lot of fans would have loved is more than like 3 days notice on something like this, because they probably wouldn't have wanted to be there. So the Washington football team took some heat for that. All right, moving on to the NHL. That's right, friends, hockey is back in action. Oh, God, I love hockey so much. For those of you who are new to the show and haven't been here for hockey season, it's my favorite season. So let's talk about at least the games that happened this weekend. Devils beating the Blackhawks on Friday 4-3 in overtime. Canucks beating the Flyers 5-4, also in a shootout. Nice. Wild beat the Ducks 2-1. Sabres beat the Coyotes 2-1. Panthers get a huge win over the Islanders 5-1. Lightning beat the Capitals in OT 2-1. Maple Leafs beat the Senators 3-1. Blue Jackets get a win in overtime against the Kraken 2-1. Penguins destroy the Blackhawks 5-2. By the way, Penguins without Sidney Crosby, Jake Gensel, or Evgeny Malkin, and they have yet to lose in regulation in their first 3 games. They're destroying their opponents. And it's actually been a long time since the last time they haven't had a star in the lineup. We're going to get to that. We'll get to that. Rangers get a win over the Canadiens 3-1. Red Wings beat the Canucks 3-1. Bruins get a win over the Stars 3-1. Hurricanes beating the Predators 3-2. Blues beat the Avalanche 5-3. Avalanche without Gabriel Landeskog, who has been suspended for 2 games. Oilers get a win over the Flames 5-2. Sharks beating the Jets 4-3. And the Wild get a wild win over the Kings 3-2. Senators beat the Stars 3-2. That was today's one and only game. A lot of cool games coming up in this week. Rangers Maple Leafs. Kraken first crack at the Flyers. Kraken and Flyers. It's happening. Avalanche and Capitals on Tuesday. And any other good games? Oh, Panthers Lightning. That should be an exciting one. Islanders, Blackhawks? I don't know. All right, that's fine. Let's look at those standings. So in the Eastern Conference, in the Athletic, you have basically a super duper tie, right? It's so early in the season. Points are really tough to look at. And, it's tough to look at and measure who's going to be the best team. You got to give it at least a month. But Maple Leafs, Senators, Panthers, Sabres, and Lightning all have 4 points. Red Wings with 3, Bruins with 2, and the Canadiens are 0-3 to start the season. Not a great way to start, considering you were in the Stanley Cup Finals just a few months ago. In the Metro, the Penguins are on top of the division with 5 points, followed by the Hurricanes and Blue Jackets at 4, Capitals, Rangers at 3, Devils at 2, Flyers at 1, and the Islanders 0-2 to start their season. They were in the conference semifinals, and they're 0-2 to start the season. Again, a lot can change. Do I expect the Blue Jackets to remain on top? No, I really don't. In the Central, you have the Wild at 4 points, and then you have the Blues with 2, Avalanche with 2, Stars with 2, Coyotes, Blackhawks, Predators, Jets without any wins. Coyotes and Blackhawks have 1 point apiece. No wins yet for Marc-Andre Fleury and the Blackhawks. Pacific Division, Oilers on top with 4 points, followed by the Kraken and Canucks at 3. Sharks at 2, Kings at 2, Ducks at 2, Golden Knights at 2, and the Flames at 0 so far. A lot can happen between now and then. By the way, Golden Knights lose 2 of their best players, Mark Stone and Max, oh man, I don't even know how to say your name. Pacioretty? Is there like a phonetic spelling for that? The really good guy. And then Ottawa signed Brady Tkachuk to a 7-year deal just hours before the season opener. All right, I know I mentioned this before. The Penguins without a superstar. Crosby, Malkin, Jake Gensel, I like to count Gensel in there. But that's fine. We don't have to. The last time one of those two guys did not start between Crosby and Malkin, 2003. You'd think with all their injuries, right? This is and we're counting Marc-Andre Fleury, I guess, in here too. This is an interesting article. I'll have to give this some more read. But the point is, the Penguins had a superstar in that lineup for a very long time. So it's been a while, and yet they are killing it without Crosby and without Malkin in that lineup. All right, Ben Simmons shows up at practice. Just shows up out of the blue. Hey, I'm here. I'm ready to go, guys. Listen, if you're the 76ers and this dude just shows up after all these months of holding out and I'm not going to play and basically being a giant baby, I am so excited. I really am. I'm really excited. Living here in Philadelphia, I've heard this Ben Simmons saga non-stop from fans, from everybody that's familiar with the situation. The moment Ben Simmons touches a basketball for the 76ers, it doesn't matter if he shoots a 3. He is going to get booed mercilessly. You don't just say and do what you did in the city of Philadelphia. And the fans will pay whatever money possible to go to that first game just to boo Ben Simmons. That is the mindset of Philly, and that's why I love this city and living here. But realistically, Ben Simmons, is he going to be ready for the opener this coming week? Is he going to play? We don't know. We don't really have answers yet. Phoenix Suns agree to a 4-year, $90 million contract extension to Mikal Bridges. Very well deserved. NBA, Greg Popovich. A story came out earlier this weekend that Popovich would be done after 2 more seasons. I don't know what the significance of that is. It could just be that that's his contract. But I mean, he's been coaching the Spurs since 1996, and he's won quite a few championships since he's gotten there. So it's been a while for Popovich. I think he can retire in peace. LiAngelo Ball is going to play for the Charlotte Hornets G League team. Ball got a chance in Summer League to play for the Hornets. They didn't necessarily keep him on the roster, but then it looks like they'll sign him and play him in G League. And this is a good move for LiAngelo. I think had he not I shouldn't say it wasn't his decision. It was his dad's decision, really. But if he hadn't left UCLA, I have a feeling that LiAngelo Ball may be in the NBA sooner than what we've gotten. Instead, he bounced around. He was in Europe and like Slovenia or I don't even remember where they were, Australia, and then they were in their own league. They built their own league just so him and his brother can play, and now this is finally his shot. So I wish the best of luck to him. Kevin Durant seems positive that Kyrie Irving is going to play with the team. I'm sorry, I just jumped stories just like that. You got to play fast and loose here. That's how it works in this world, folks. That's how it works on Sports with Nick Drago. That's me. Kyrie Irving, this is just a mess. The guy clearly just doesn't want to play basketball anymore. I mean, honestly, last season, he just didn't feel like playing. And granted, there were certain things, right? He was protesting social injustices and whatnot. I'm fine with that. But it almost seems like now it's whatever reason or excuse he can find to not play basketball. I mean, honestly, Kyrie, when is the last time you've played and played well? You have gotten everything you wanted. You wanted to play on the Nets, your childhood team. You even convinced Kevin Durant to come play for the Nets, your childhood team. And James Harden's here now, too. You have everything to win a championship. You could go down as one of the best players in NBA history if you just shut up and play. I'm honest with you. Shut up and play. Get the vaccine. It's going to be fine. You're fine. It's okay. Yeah, I don't know. The whole Kyrie situation's a little bit crazy town. Let's check back in with Major League Baseball. Looks like the Dodgers have pulled ahead now 4-2 over the Braves, so they could tie this series up. It's still middle of the 7th, so not much has happened in the last 20 minutes that I've been filming this show. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see the NFL game. Let's see if we got Seattle. Let's see. Nope, not what I wanted. Look, now I'm just clicking on things. Seattle Seahawks. I almost clicked on the Krakens. Okay, Seahawks got a touchdown. It's 14-7. Did Geno Smith? Geno Smith had a touchdown. That's exactly what I needed from you, Geno. Exactly what I need. Can we quickly just go to my fantasy team real quick? Ignore everything you're seeing on the page. Geno Smith with 9 points. Now that's what I'm talking about. And there's still some time left to go. I would love it if they beat Seattle right now. I mean Pittsburgh. I would love it if they beat Pittsburgh. All right, friends, that's all the time I had for this. See, you just got a glimpse into my world, my fantasy team, everything. Cray. So crazy. Special thanks, as usual, to Johanna Drago. She's the content editor, logo designer, and set designer of this podcast. Also, my social media warriors, Mary Kay, Gary Albert, Joe Calabro, Jorge Pajares, and company. Thanks, everybody who tunes in on a weekly basis. I love you. I love hearing from you. Thank you. It is always a pleasure. And, what else? I think that's all that I have. If you liked what you hear, you can find me on SoundCloud, Twitter, YouTube, and the Facebook. Just type in Sports with Nick Drago. Again, that's this guy right here. You can also email me directly, sports3xpodcast@gmail.com. I promise you, I check that from time to time. Anyway, I think that's all the time that I have for today. So it has been real, it has been a pleasure, and it's been a real pleasure. See you, good night, good evening, and of course, caw-caw.